Earth Defense Force 4.1 The Shadow of New Despair for the PS4 is a remaster of Earth Defense Force 2025, which came out in 2014 for the last-gen consoles. The question is it better? We'll get to that in a bit, but first, for those new to the franchise, Earth Defense Force, or simply EDF, is a game about giant bugs and giant robots invading our planet in the very near future. Fans of the series love EDF for its B-movie charm and overall cheesiness. It's light on story and heavy on the action, letting you fight against hordes of enemies consisting of giant insects, robots, and spaceships. Watching a swarm of ants the size of trucks from a distance is both awesome and intimidating. To even the odds, you have unlimited ammo and explosive firepower. Few things are more satisfying than seeing a cluster of giant insects turn into a spray of red mist after a direct hit. Among EDF's popular features are the highly destructible environments. Almost everything you see can be destroyed. You are as much a demolition man as you are a bug exterminator. And the truth is, you are a far greater menace to society than the entire alien invading force you're supposed to be defending the Earth against. You'll find yourself blowing up buildings just for the fun of it. You'll obliterate neighborhoods and transform cities into piles of rubble, and you will do it all with a smile on your face. This is essentially what the game boils down to: pure, unadulterated fun. EDF 4.1 at the default difficulty setting isn't too terribly challenging, but you will occasionally run into sudden difficulty spikes that will frustrate you. Sometimes changing your loadout will do the trick, as some weapon combinations are more effective in certain situations. However, there are times where your only real option is to beef up your health by replaying earlier missions and farming upgrade points. You could also try replaying them at higher difficulty settings. Doing so changes the experience significantly, as the enemies are tougher, more aggressive, and generally faster. In return, defeated foes will leave more powerful weapon drops, so there's real incentive to play above the normal difficulty. There are 4 soldier classes to choose from, and each one has unique strengths and weaknesses. I encourage you to try them all out to see which one best suits your playstyle. The downside is that you need to upgrade each class separately. That means if you decide late in the game to switch to a different class, you will be at a severe disadvantage and have virtually no chance of surviving. You would need to start at the very beginning and build up your stats. On the plus side, this gives players even more incentive to replay the game, as each class provides an entirely different experience. EDF 4.1, The Shadow of Despair, is a non-stop action shooter that is unlike anything else out there. Now, going back to the original question, is it better than the original release? Absolutely. If you've never picked up EDF 2025, then this is definitely the version to buy. But what about those who already own EDF 2025? Is it worth buying this version? Without a doubt. The visuals are a clear step up. It looks much sharper at 1080p and runs silky smooth at 60 frames per second. It just plays and feels better overall. For one thing, the aiming is more precise. Also, switching weapons is much more responsive. This is a big deal because one of the most common ways to die in the last gen version was blowing up yourself after a giant bug jumps right in front of you before you fire your rocket launcher. In that situation, the natural thing to do would be to switch to your close range weapon, but tapping the weapon switch button in the thick of battle wasn't always reliable. A lot of times I would end up firing my missile launcher at point blank range, believing that I'd already switched my shotgun. These instances are far less frequent in EDF 4.1, and I would even say that most of the time it was my fault. And besides the higher resolution and frame rate, all-around destruction seems to have undergone a facelift as well. Skyscrapers crumble much more dramatically. The first time I saw it in this version, I could not believe my eyes. Gigantic robots explode in a glorious ball of flame as they topple to the ground. There are other minor touches, like having more friendly soldiers fighting by your side. Underground tunnels are now pitch dark and are illuminated by flashlights attached to your weapon. Plus, the load times have been drastically reduced. As I mentioned, this just plays and feels better than the last gen version, enough to warrant another purchase, even if you already own EDF 2025. If you're looking for all-out action and fun, go out and buy this game. EDF 4.1, The Shadow of Despair, won't disappoint.